Still got it, 10 seconds of it. Cool, you hear it changing the engine as well. So welcome to the Challenge the Road and the 992 911. So this is my first drive of the 992. I've had the 991, 996 and obviously the 993 lately. So it's really interesting. It's been a car I've really wanted to drive and haven't driven one yet. So first impressions, what I've done is I've put everything in soft, so soft suspension, no exhaust, just in drive mode on auto, taking it round some sort of country roads, getting a feel for it. So first impression, this is a 4S convertible. It's a little bit of road noise, quite a bit coming from the back. It feels just very, very refined, as it would. I can feel quite a bit through the suspension. The steering obviously hasn't got huge amounts of feel, but feels, you know, very reassuring. So we'll just drive along here, get a bit more of a feel for the car, then we can start going through these driver modes. It's one of the first cars we've actually had where, you know, this is not my car. It's Peter's, you know, been really kind and lent us this car, and we've had lots of owners want us to drive their cars on Challenge the Road. So this is sort of one of the first ones. He said to me there's a button here that gives you a 20-second overboost. He said don't use that. So we'll go down here and then we'll give that a try. Thank you. Right, so the first change, just put it in manual. 450 horsepower. Yeah, it's got some go. It's got some go. So what we've got on here, we've got a sports button, so that's the exhaust. We've got a suspension. Actually feels better with the suspension on. Then we've got these drive modes here. Love a gadget, but here we go. So we've got normal, sport, sport plus. And Pete said you shouldn't really drive too much in sport plus, like, so what we do, we exactly do that. So second gear, little bit of a bend here. This is going to be a nice drive. I mean, it's like two cars really, because you've got the, put it in D, soften it all off, and you've got a convertible. So is this the best 911 or the 992? It's the best of all worlds, I suppose. There is a GTS that's just coming out, maybe a bit more, but how much do you need? And it'll be interesting to, we've got a bit of traffic today, but just to play around with this. So second, it's lively. So this, say we're on a little A21, so let's just dial it back all off again, just go normal, turn the exhaust off, turn the suspension. I say it might be just because it's a convertible that you're hearing a bit more noise. It feels from the back. Very good driving position. Steering wheel feels good. I like this dash. I like this rev counter in the middle. I think the left hand side's a digital, and in the middle you've got like an analog setup, which looks really smart. Satellite to the right, but also you've got this massive infotainment screen here. Don't know how easy it is to use. It's the first time out, but so let's just put this Sport Plus again, second, third, and it is moving. Brakes feel good, initial bite is nice, no problems with them. It's not like over, I know sometimes you get the brakes and they sort of are a bit grabby at the top. It feels really progressive, really nice, a bit like a GT car actually. My old 991 GT3 feels a bit like that. So let's just go through price of this car. So with options, 144,000. Now I remember when the 911S was 65,000, so they've obviously gone up a lot. I think it's probably about 115, and then people are adding 30k of options. So it's an expensive car, but 992s are holding their value. You've got obviously older 911s going up as well. Is it good value? Not so sure. I think if it is the car you want, I mean, I think the 992 design looks fantastic. The rear of this car looks lovely. When you're looking through the wing mirrors, you really see all the haunches on this car. You can't get a much better gearbox than this. You've got, I don't know why you'd want more power. I mean, That's a lot of power, and it feels good, and it does make you smile. And you've got two sides to the car. You can go slow, you could go quick. I mean, I think this would be a good track car. It's got huge tyres, PDK's fantastic. We just head out a little bit further and we go on a dual carriageway, see how it feels then, because obviously there's still quite a bit of noise here. I'm interested at sort of 70-75 mile an hour how it is. So we're out on this dual carriageway now. Let's just see the noise level along here. So I've turned everything off, the exhaust is off. Let's put it in normal. I should go wet mode, and we could do 70 mile an hour along here. It's pretty good. I say it just feels like there's wind noise from the back, but other than that, I mean, obviously I can't put the stereo on, so if I had music on, maybe I'm hearing more than I would normally. The car feels like now there's really no engagement at all. I could drive it just with my thumb really, just here, and it's so refined, so good. You just cruise along, there's no effort. So you could use this as a daily car, no problem, I think. Obviously you're restricted a bit with the boot and everything, and obviously there's no rear seats as I think in there, or there'd be a struggle to get someone in. So I think it's very easy to drive, and as I say, you could just drive it just with one finger like this along here. It's that easy. We're just coming into a roundabout here, so we feel. So again, you're probably going to go suspension. So we can't do it in wet mode. Sport plus, suspension, exhaust on, manual. There's a lot of buttons. And then let's see how it feels in here. Very good. So flat, and then you're out. It just does everything, doesn't it? The ride is really good, and I'll be interested up here because we've got some nice speed bumps and that here. It'd be interesting. So let's dial it all back again, because this is like a real world test. I like to test the cars as I would use them. So we've got Sport Plus, so we'll probably go back again to normal. We've got no exhaust on, suspension in soft. We come up to these speed bumps. Turn manual off as well. It's pretty good. Let's see how these bumps are. It's obviously not too low as well, so I don't think it's going to have much of a problem. I don't think this has got a lift system. It probably doesn't need it. Here are the bumps. A bit like nothing's there really. Okay, well let's head up. Got some nice B roads up here, and we see how it performs. Right, so let's go down some of my favourite B roads. We've got everything on. Sport Plus, suspension pretty firm, steering feels good, brakes feel really nice at the top, pretty tight down here. So yeah, it feels very, very planted. And even though it's wet, it's a tremendous amount of grip and sounds good as well. Crikey, it's good. Cover ground at serious speed. So yeah, so it's got that seriousness about it when you want to, and the steering does feel good. I know this is electric steering, but probably as good as electric steering can be. Got a lot of traffic today, so it's difficult to sort of get any sort of flow. I feel like with this you're going to probably want to try and find an individual mode on here. I don't know if we can do that. Do I press that? Not sure what I press. He said don't press that button because you get a boost. I don't want to go in the back of a car. So let's turn around here and we go back down there. So Sport Plus. Everything's on. Second, third. And I say you can just dab the brakes and then just hold them on to hold your line. Very slippery today. And down this hill. It's a tricky little corner this, because you're downhill, you blip in the throttle, you're just touching the brake, little bit skittish, but it is a little bit muddy there. Makes your stomach go a little bit funny. The big bump, cool, it took that well down, just braking, third, second, and just hold it in here. Loads of front end grip. So you can feel the difference between this and a GT car, where you've just got a little bit more suspension travel. If I was in a GT3, I think it would be very firm down that road. I think it would almost be too much, whereas that is just taking the bumps a little bit. It feels really nice. I think I was going to do this video, was going to be comparing this with a 993, and I don't see just different cars. If I was in the 993 now, I would feel engaged at all speeds. I'm not engaged at all speeds in this. It's so refined. When I put that all back to normal, drop everything off, it just feels so easy, so refined. Whereas in that 993, I'd be going like this, and the steering would feel like this, and I'd feel, oh wow, you know, this is exciting all the time. And I'd be going up here and I'd be changing gear. But as I say, you know, over the years, the 992 is the biggest Porsche they've ever done. It's got electric steering, it's the most refined, and it does everything. And it's a great for the daily car as well, whereas the 993 you only take out, you have a blast, you put it back, and then you spend 2 days getting over the engine ringing in your ears. This is turbocharged, it's a nice sound, it's a nice engine, and everything in this is just very nice. There's nothing you could sort of say was bad or not very good or average. There's nothing. I mean, it's lovely in here. It's a lovely place to be. If you put your money in a 992, it's probably pretty safe. You know, you got one of the best sports cars there. Values have stayed up. Stop start, it's quite nice. Yeah, it's a lovely car. I'd like to do another video with this. Obviously Pete's really kind lending us the car. I'd like to take the 993 out. It was a bit wet today, but I'd like to take that out against this, drive them sort of back to back. So if Pete's kind enough to lend us this again, and he wants to have a go in the 993, if we could get out in both, it'd just be very interesting. I feel like this demolishes the road if you really got going, whereas the 993 you'd be going slower, but the enjoyment level would be so high. But again, if you want to go for a long drive, you'd take this. So thanks for watching. I hope that gives you a bit of an idea about a 992. If you're thinking of buying one, then I would. I think it's a great car. If you want something that's going to be adrenaline and ringing in through your ears for a couple of days, then maybe go for the older retros or the 993, 964, because you're going to get a fantastic experience there. So please like and subscribe to our channel. Got more coming soon. See you soon. I really want to try this button that he said don't press. Let's just go. Now we stopped filming. He said Sport Plus Manual. So it must be, because you have to press a button. Someone says don't press a button, you press the button. Right, let's go. So second gear. Come on. Okay. That is pretty cool. I've still got it. 10 seconds of it. Cool, you hear it change in the engine as well. Okay, I'll turn that off. I'll tell him we didn't do that. Let's dial it all back. Cruise along.